Hello everyone and welcome to the 5th weekly devlog. This week is going to be exciting since we will finally be caught up with the weekly posts on our blog, which means that the next devlog and each after that will finally be synchronized to what's actually posted on the blogs on our website each week. On the subject of our website though, we've actually added something really cool to it that we'll be talking about in the last part of this video, so make sure you stick around for that. However, this week we're going to be talking about our new main character concept design, some railguns, updates to the crafting system, which will actually be shown off pretty soon, and then we'll wrap up with a look at our transport ship, armor, and some flamethrowers. But, of course, it wouldn't be fair to not mention our wonderful Kickstarter, which has currently just broken 100 followers. That's incredibly exciting news, so for all of you watching, please go ahead and sign up if the project interests you, since this allows us to spread the word about the game so much faster. It's going to be really exciting pretty quick here once we start showing off the gameplay and mechanics, so it's definitely worth signing up to follow. Now let's go ahead and jump right into week 9 and talk about our main character and new railgun. Now what you see before you is, well, you. This is going to be the design of the suit your character is wearing, called the Exo-Atmospheric Containment Suit, which is used exclusively by the MTF squadron known as Zeta 12 in Site 113, and it's reserved for the most high-stakes scenarios that can occur off-world. So this suit is actually quite modular and will accept multiple upgrades in the form of armor, oxygen tanks, and other utilities that will ensure that you're prepared for the more intense sections that will exist later in the game. And one of these sections particularly is the military zone. Hint, hint. Now, the first armor upgrade for this suit will actually be shown off in the later part of this video, so go ahead and stick around for that. However, this suit will have multiple color variants that will cross over into multiplayer for some really interesting customization elements that will allow for players like you to show off their status with some nice skins for their character. The actual 3D model of this character is currently being modeled out and will be showcased in its own video, but we believe this model does justice to the fantastic concept design we have and really does flip what people think an MTF looks like on its head, as we tend to do for a lot of things in SCP. Now, because your character has a pretty cool design, we decided that of course you need cool weaponry to go with it. Now, this weapon, known as the HSER, is a hypersonic railgun that is an extremely advanced piece of technology that packs an incredibly devastating punch. You'll be able to one-shot most enemies you encounter with this weapon through the middle stages of the game, but there is one caveat, which is that ammunition is extremely limited, so pick your shots carefully and do not miss. Now you'll be finding this equipment in the R&D zone, and we'll have it along with you for the rest of the game to give you a false sense of security unless you are able to craft some ammo for it. And speaking of crafting, we've just started the process of designing the unique resources that will be used in crafting to help you design new and unique weapons and ammunition. Now these are some of the raw resources that will be found around the facility, with the exclusion of the more exotic scrap materials, which you'll gather around various parts of the facility and put into what is known as the recycler. And the recycler will take all the scrap you can throw at it and will convert it into a special plasma-based substance that will be stored in a tube that you'll carry with you and will feed into all the recyclers you may come across. It will be critical to scrounge up as many resources as you can in order to craft the most powerful weapons and upgrades, and it's at these recyclers that you will find the fabricators, and is what you'll actually use to craft ammo, so never miss out on the chance to use one if you come across one in the facility. Now, as some of you eagle-eyed players may have seen in another announcement, we've added a tab to the top of our website that details what creatures are contained in Site 113 and which are going to be transported there in the near future. And all of the information in this containment log will be updated as the creatures are finalized, but the information is lore accurate to what you'll be facing in-game, and will even have information about why each SCP was sent to Mars to begin with. So for those of you who love background story and lore, then this is definitely the place to check out frequently, since this page will also detail all the SCPs we plan to add, so maybe bookmark it to find out first. Now this about wraps it up for week number 8. Let's go ahead and get into week 9 and discuss the new transport ship concept and burning your enemies to a crisp with the new flamethrower. And these next two images are the newest to our fleet of concept designs for the transport ship, which is going to serve as one of your starting locations, which, yes, you should take note of, and will also be featured around the game in various ways. And the most notable will be in the hunt and will serve as a location in which your team will get a planning phase on how you plan to deal with the SCPs you'll be facing, as well as delivering supplies throughout a round. Inevitably, though, you'll come to know it most in single player, and you'll find out much more in a future content update, so do not fear. However, the ship is quite spacious and capable of extremely long-range flights, thanks to some special technology that was derived from an SCP housed within Site-113, and the ship will become extremely familiar to you, so be sure to explore it when you can. Now, some of you with more interesting personalities might find great joy in being able to burn things alive, and luckily for you, we have a device known lovingly as the Phoenix in Site-113. This device is a portable flamethrower that will serve a massive purpose throughout the later portions of the game, and will be an amazing deterrent against some of the other pesky SCPs that are resistant to bullets. This weapon is capable of producing an inferno that is well over 1500 degrees Celsius, thanks to an advanced fuel compound and special barreled shielding created within the facility. However, because of this, the weapon can only be fired in short bursts and will need to cool down. Now, this can leave you extremely exposed, so make sure to not leave yourself too vulnerable after laying down a liquid inferno on your enemies. Now, this weapon is fun to use, fuel is rather rare, so be sure to use it sparingly. Now, we saw a little bit ago that the armor for your character is going to have a high degree of customizability in terms of armor and attachments to it. Now, this concept design is for an armor set known as the Juggernaut Armor, and is going to be featured as a set for single player. Now, the set will be very protective and offers protection against certain threats that the base armor would not. Now, there's going to be a lot more variants of armor and equipment shown off in the upcoming posts for your player, since we want there to be an opportunity for you to modify your player to suit your playstyle. Now, each armor set and upgrade will have their own unique effect on your stats, and will be great for prepping for certain situations that will occur within Site-113. However, that about does it for Week 8 and 9, but I'd like to give a reminder to you, yes you, that you can get the super cool Patreon exclusive weapon skin for the month of August just by going to our Patreon page, which is linked below and in the pinned comment. There will be more exclusive skins available in the coming month as well, so be on the lookout on our Patreon page. Now, please go ahead and remember to check out and follow our Kickstarter page for all of you watching, since this is an incredible opportunity to support us, and we thank you all for all of you who go ahead and decide to follow it. Now, next week, we will be talking about the incredibly important Facility Hub Zone, and we'll also be showing off some gameplay. Yes, gameplay! So do not miss it. And the devlogs from that point on will also be a lot shorter, since we'll only be talking about a single week, so you guys can definitely rejoice in that regard. Now, I hope you all enjoyed this update. Make sure to subscribe, since we also just broke 800 subscribers, and I will see you all next week.